Happy Tuesday, Stampers. I'm trying a little bit of a bigger, wider angle this time, hoping that that might help with some of the problems that I've had with, being able to see and whatnot. So today I was going to talk a little bit about watercoloring. And one of the reasons I wanted to do that was I got my paper pumpkin this time and made these 3 really cute cards. Came with this really nice little stamp set. And I really liked it. But the background on this one, and here was the plain background, really kind of looked like a watercolor wash. So I thought, well, that would be nice to show maybe how you could make your own watercolor wash if you had not done that before. The best thing to use always, of course, is watercolor paper. All right, our regular white, naturals white, not the glossy or the whisper white, because they're just too smooth. You need something that's going to absorb that water a little bit. You could use either one of those. In order to do the background, I'm going to use first the watercolor pencils, or the crayons, sorry, because I love those so much. And I'll just pick a kind of a yellowy and an orangey, just for 2 colors to use. Now, when you're using your watercolor crayons, you can do it one of 2 ways. You can color directly onto the paper and then take your watercolor brush and smooth that color out. Sometimes though, you can see that you get a little bit of a line in there. Just keep going until that's gone. Okay, then of course you're going to let that dry. The other way is that you can take the color directly onto your brush and then put it on the paper. Okay, and depending on, there we go, what kind of look you want. There we go. That gets some nice color. But you can see that, either way, the watercolor paper always works best, but this other paper works, just works well also. You just need something that's going to be a little bit absorbent. I should have brought a paper towel also so that I could blot my colors off, but just for the sake of doing this, we'll put some orange on here too. So you can see how that would make a nice little background. You could then just stamp some flowers, put a sentiment on there, and have a really, really pretty card. Any colors are fine. Okay, so you can see that looks, similar to what you've got there. So that's how you would do that kind of a background. Okay, so the other thing that we have done, if you remember, we made this watercolor card. And just in case you weren't here that time, I thought that I would remind you, we used a block and we just took a couple of our markers and we ran some color on here. Okay. And then after I put the color on, just take a spritzer and spritz it a couple of times just so the ink is going to be wet. Okay, and then again, we took the paper and stamped the block right down on there. And I probably didn't get that quite wet enough, but you can get the idea. See how we did this? Okay. I can even move it around a little bit. It kind of gives it a neat look too. And again, I can do that on the watercolor paper or I can do it on the naturals paper. Again, once that dries, you could then stamp your image and your sentiment. We have another card that we made not too long ago for this sympathy card. And you see here that we used actually a stamp to stamp these 3, but it would have been just as easy to take the watercolor, just give it a little color, little color, little color. Again, wait for it to dry, and then you could stamp over the top. Okay, probably though, one of the most common things that people are going to do with watercoloring, of course, is to stamp an image and then to watercolor on the inside. Now to do that, you can use your crayons. You can use watercolor pencils. I have the Stampin' Up! Ones here, okay? Or sometimes you can even use markers or you can use your re-inkers. So we're going to look at all those different ways to do it. The one thing I did want to point out, if you use regular dye ink to stamp your image, and then if I want to color here and then take my water and spread that around, what you're going to notice is after a bit, see how this, I stamped this in brown, see how that brown color is starting to bleed into the purple? Okay, and you're just going to end up smearing that ink. So if you're going to watercolor, make sure that you stamp in StazOn, which is what this is, or you emboss it, which is what this is. And that kind of gives it that raised image so that you can then color, and it kind of keeps the color inside the lines for you. Okay, let me just wipe that off. Okay, so if I was going to use my re-inker, I could just take a drop there. I could mix it with a little bit of water. There you go. Pick up some color and just start to color a little bit. Okay. Okay, so you can do that. I would then go back with the water and pull the color over. So, because usually what you want to do is end up with some darker areas and some lighter areas. You can then, as it dries, you can go back over it and do it that way. Okay, again, I can go straight from the crayons and color in here. Okay, and that gives you a nice image. And usually when you're watercoloring, you want to leave some white areas. That's kind of one of the distinctive things about watercolor. Now, what if you didn't have one of these watercolor pencils? Well, it's actually just as easy to use some water and a paintbrush, okay, or a sponge. You could do either one of those. Again, if I wanted to make, say, this card right here, I could just pick up some water on my brush, get my, I'm going to put some ink down here. I could pick that up on the brush with water and make my little brush mark. See how that makes it kind of like wherever my card went. Okay, but the last thing I wanted to show you is we did this really, really beautiful angel a couple of years ago for one of our Christmas cards, and she's actually colored with markers. Okay, so what we did was I used an embossed image, so this is raised, and then I just took my marker, I put a little bit of color down, and then I took my watercolor pencil and I just, this has still got some yellow in it, and I just pulled that color out. You have to do that kind of right away so you can see, even if you don't have the watercolor pencils or anything, you can still use markers. Whoops, that's the skinny end, to pull color. You just don't want to let it sit too long, because then that color gets, see how I'm trying to pull the color in. And you can go back and lay more color down or whatever you want to do. So I hope that when you're going to stamp again, maybe you'll consider using watercolor either for a background like we've done here or to color your image. So I hope you have a great day. Happy Tuesday. Bye.